So I'm going to explain what I learned from this reconnaissance trip on January 17th to Alexander Springs using this map. So if you look at the map, Alexander Springs Recreation Area is north of the County Road 445. I drove up there on Highway 19 coming from the south. I live over an hour away. And stopped at the Alexander Springs Recreation Area. Didn't find any hiking trails north of the county road. I found a campground, the springs itself, and a place to rent kayaks and canoes. You can swim in there, but if you're not doing one of those things, I wouldn't go there if you were hiking because you have to pay a parking fee to be in there. Now, for convenience, you could do it if you want to start on that red trail, which starts south of the county road. You can do so. You just walk right across the street. There is a post immediately visible there, and you can just go down that trail. I didn't do it because I was walking all around trying to figure it out. But if I had gone on that red trail, which is a bike trail, I believe I also could have hiked on it and continued south for at least 10 miles down to Clearwater Lake. However, I also could have gone on the Orange Trail. It would have intersected. That Orange Trail is known as the Florida National Scenic Trail, and I'm going to guess that that one is hiking only, so you shouldn't see bikers. I've heard bikers do go on that trail, but they're not supposed to be on that trail. They're supposed to be on the red trail. That's mountain bikers, not motorized vehicles. Now, the green trail is actually an off-highway vehicle trail for motorized vehicles to do the recreation. So I could go down to that trail from the red trail, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want to be having to step aside for motorized vehicles, and I think just the ambiance of being on a trail with those kinds of vehicles would be no fun for me. So what I want to do is the Orange Trail. Also, because Clearwater Lake is to the south, I can go there instead of Alexander Springs. I've also found free parking at both Clearwater Lake and also off of Highway 19, 3 miles from Alexander Springs Recreation Area. So there's ways to avoid paying for parking. My next trip will probably be to Clearwater Lake because it's closer and I can get on the same trail going north instead of south. So that's the plan. Also, I found out that Alexander Springs does not have manatees. There's a spring to the north, Juniper Springs, that doesn't have them. But if you go further north to Silver Glen Springs or Salt Springs, both within 20 minutes, you might see manatees. And finally, a little bit more information about the Orange Trail, which is known as the Florida National Scenic Trail, or sometimes called just the Florida Trail. It's one of 11 national scenic trails in the country. It's 1,400 miles. It starts at the Big Cypress National Preserve near the Everglades and goes all the way up into the Florida Panhandle. It's not always a remote trail. Sometimes it goes on paved multi-use trails. Sometimes it goes along roads, shoulders of roads, even shoulders of highways, which are not pleasant to hike, by the way. I had never heard of it, and a lot of people who live in Florida don't even know about it, but it goes 1,400 miles, north and south, generally speaking, or 1,100 if you're just going one way and you don't do the loops. There's loops around places like Lake Okeechobee and Orlando and so forth that add to the mileage. There's only 400 people that have ever even completed the entire trail. So I don't want to do the whole thing. I want to do a remote segment like this, and that's my plan.